All right, today we're digging into a really unsettling pattern that's surfaced in the world of high security science. This is one of those stories that lives right where cutting edge research meets, well, the darkest corners of national security. And it all starts with a number 9. We're talking about 9 people, all deeply connected to America's most sensitive defense and aerospace programs. And look, these aren't just any researchers. These are the folks on the front lines, the real vanguard, working on stuff that is supposed to define our future. And every single one of them either died or just vanished without a trace, all within a terrifyingly short window of just 18 months. So this string of tragedies, happening one after another, it begs a huge question that investigators and observers just can't shake. Is this just a wild, statistically improbable coincidence? Or is it something much, much more deliberate? Okay, let's really get into this. So this cluster of cases involves experts from some of the most prestigious and, let's be honest, most secretive institutions out there. We're talking about places like NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, the Nuclear Brain Trust at Los Alamos, and the Air Force Research Laboratory. To really get what's going on, you have to look at the people involved. I mean, these aren't just numbers on a page. They're individuals with incredibly specialized skills working at the absolute bleeding edge of what we even understand about science. Now, if you look at the official reports, law enforcement has treated every single one of these as a separate, isolated tragedy. And the explanations they give, they sound plausible on the surface. A hiker goes missing, someone just walks away from their life, or, in the really tragic cases, a murder or suicide. These are heartbreaking for sure, but they happen, and officially there's no public link between any of them. But here's where things start to feel off. Once you push past those official headlines and you start digging into the details of each case, you find these really troubling little facts, these inconsistencies that just don't line up with the simple story we're being told. Okay, take Melissa Casillas from Los Alamos. Officially, she's a walk-off, someone who just decided to disappear. But how do you explain this? Both her work phone and her personal phone were found at her house, completely wiped. Factory reset. That's not a spontaneous act. That's a deliberate, methodical erasure of her entire digital life. Or what about Major General William McCasland, a former commander at the Air Force Research Lab? He vanishes, right? But think about what he takes and what he leaves. He leaves his phone and his Apple Watch, all his communication and tracking tech behind, but he takes his wallet, his hiking boots, and a handgun. I mean, those are not the actions of a person who's planning on coming right back. So here's the crucial shift in perspective. You have to stop looking at these as 9 separate random tragedies. The moment you start organizing them by their unique skill sets, their areas of expertise, a completely different picture starts to take shape. And it's a very structured one. And that picture? Well, it looks a whole lot like something the UAP community has been talking about for years, a so-called ARV program. The idea is that there's this top-secret effort to try and reverse engineer some kind of advanced, non-human craft. A project like that, well, it would need a very specific, hand-picked dream team of experts. And this, right here, illustrates that theory perfectly. When you start mapping the skills of the 9, it's kind of shocking how much it looks like a personnel chart for that exact kind of program. You've got Monica Jacinto Reza, who's an expert in superalloys for things that fly in extreme conditions. You've got Dr. Nuno Loureiro, a physicist working on breakthrough fusion for propulsion. You have your eyes and ears in Dr. Carl Grillmeyer and Jacob Pritchard, who specialized in tracking objects. You even have Dr. Frank Mywalds, a pioneer in, get this, life detection technology. Now let's get to the timeline, because this is what really fuels all the speculation. It's not just what happened, but when it all went down. The whole thing spans about 18 months, from mid-2024 to early 2026. But look, pay very close attention to February 2026. It's explosive. Right after President Trump publicly calls for the government to release its UFO files, bam, Dr. Carl Grillmeyer is murdered. Just 11 days after that, Major General McCasland vanishes. And McCasland wasn't just some random high-ranking officer. Thanks to leaked emails, we know he was already advising a well-known UFO disclosure project. So his disappearance, coming right on the heels of a presidential call for transparency, I mean, for people watching this space, that's not just suspicious, it's downright alarming. So, after all that, where does it leave us? Honestly, without any kind of smoking gun, we're stuck looking at the same set of facts and coming to two totally different conclusions. It really pulls you in opposite directions. On one side, you have the official view. It's a series of terrible tragedies, for sure, but in a world with thousands of high-stress researchers, maybe it's just a statistical fluke. A really, really unlucky one. But then you have the other view, that this is no accident, that this is a calculated pattern, a form of attrition, maybe designed to stop leaks, or just grind progress on a secret program to a halt. And look, this weird statistical anomaly has gotten so loud that it's not just being talked about on internet forums anymore. We're seeing official demands for answers from people like Congressman Tim Burchett. He's calling for full, transparent investigations and, this is key, real congressional oversight of whatever classified programs these scientists were working on. And that really just leaves us with one final, pretty provocative thought. It makes you ask, when the need to keep national secrets is this intense, when it collides with the truth, what's the ultimate price? And who is forced to pay it?